Welcome back. Today we have a very special client interview with an absolute stud, Tim. Tim, I don't want to steal too much of your thunder though, so go ahead and introduce yourself, man.
Name's Tim Brown. Played at Houghton High School and going to be heading up to NMU next fall. So,
That's awesome, man. And what state are you from?
Michigan.
Fire. Awesome. Yeah, man. Just bring me up to speed. Bring us up to speed on kind of where you were at before you had joined this program in terms of your football career and everything else.
So before I had joined, it was a lot of searching the web, trying to find stuff to how to email coaches and how to get my name out there and stuff like that, and kind of just stumbled upon you guys on Instagram one day and kind of went from there and got signed up and you know year later we're here. So
Yeah, definitely. That's fire, man. What do you think like a couple of the biggest struggles you were facing were before we got linked up?
I would say not having like direct communication with the people that are telling me how to do things. So, I mean, I probably watched 50 videos on how to send coach emails, but I didn't have that direct line of communication to where it's like, hey, is this good? And I could
Mm.
send it to who made that video and stuff like that, and who's like giving me this information. So that was probably the biggest obstacle.
Gotcha, bro. Definitely hear that. Appreciate you saying that too. I guess from like start to finish, like what was everything that we kind of did inside of the program for you?
So just getting started with it, it was a lot of getting my film right, stuff like that. Getting my email like structure good and knowing that it's good, and just having that reassurance that what you're doing is working. And there was a lot of good information of just like how to do things, how to go about things, like the timeline of how to do it. Like you
Mhm.
don't want to send emails before your film looks good. You don't want to send a coach something that doesn't look good. You don't want to get your email ready and then get your film ready after your email, after you're sending them, because
Yeah,
it's like that was a good thing to get uh locked down. So
definitely, man. Love that. How did you notice kind of your success or like just entire process of you reaching out to coaches to schools like kind of change from when you were trying it by yourself, kind of watching these different videos online and then actually like getting into our system?
I think the biggest change was actually getting answers, and that could have been because I like probably the biggest tool that helped me was the database of all the schools.
Yeah.
Because I mean, before that, I'm searching up, coaching staffs, click an email, write an email, go back, click an email, right? It's like the database made it so much more easy to just pump out. Like in the time I was pumping out 5 emails, like with your system, I'm getting out 100. You know what I mean? So it
Mm.
was like
Yeah.
the bulk of it was just so much more. Like my name is getting to so many more coaches. My film is getting in front of so many more coaches. So I think that's what helped me the most. And I noticed it change with like the responses I'm getting. And it was tough before because it was like, am I doing it right? Or am I not sending enough? And I think you kind of get the answer with how you do it, because if you're not getting answers, it's definitely not the volume unless you're just not sending them. Because
Yeah.
the way your system works, it's like if you're not getting 100 out, you're not trying. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, man, I hear that for sure. Which piece of everything that we did do you think was like the game changer for you and like actually, helped you out the most?
For me, which is probably going to be a lot different from other people that do it,
Mhm.
is the calls, like the weekly calls, because I
Mm.
mean, you can attest this. I joined very late. Like
Yeah.
months months before my senior season started. So
Yeah.
a lot of your um like content was not like, I would just say more than most people that join, it was a little bit unapplicable to me just because of how late I joined.
Mhm.
Like your section about which camps to go to,
Yeah.
I mean it wasn't like for me at that point anymore because that
Definitely.
time has passed. Like there's no more of that for me.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of it was like that first section of film and then the just weekly calls and stuff like
Yeah.
that. So
Definitely. Just give us a quick rundown, like kind of on your timeline, like when you actually joined in, and then kind of from there, like, when you started to see success in those different things.
so I joined um during about camp season of my senior year, so July around there. And I mean, I didn't see much yield because my film was not great until like middle of my senior year when I could start putting that together.
Yeah.
So with the film I had, it was just more about trying to get into inboxes and stuff like that, and you know, trying to get in contact with maybe the lower schools before I get that film that's gonna like push me over the top to those bigger schools, which, you know, that's just somewhere like you got to be honest with yourself and knowing that like like if your film is the stuff, like you're going to see results faster than I did because my film wasn't the stuff until, I had that good senior year.
For sure. Got you. Okay. And then I guess when did you kind of land your first offer, and how many did you land, and like kind of where are you at now?
So my first offer was right towards the end of this season, probably around week 7, maybe. I got my first offer from Capital, and it kind of just built from there. And
Good.
that's kind of one of the things you guys talked about a lot, which really helped with like the mindset of like you got to get that first like small one and build from there.
Yeah.
And then I ended up with about, I think, 4. So I mean, depending on how much time you give yourself in the program, you
Yeah.
know, could see a lot
Definitely.
more. But
Definitely. And where were the four two, or like what level?
I had 3 D3s and one D2.
Got you. Okay. How about was it McPherson and St. Ambrose too?
Oh yeah, so I had a couple NAIs too. Yeah.
Okay. Definitely, man. That's awesome. I just want to say, like, appreciate your time inside of the program too, and actually like going through the work and like actually putting it in, because obviously, like, it doesn't work if you don't do it, right? So appreciate you coming in, working hard, and like taking advantage of all those different things that we're doing. I know you mentioned on the group calls, like that was kind of one of your favorite things. Like, what helped you out a lot with that? Just curious, man. Like, what what do we kind of do on those group calls that you found value in, and like you got a lot of insight from?
I feel like towards the beginning, it was a lot of like it was a lot structured, and you had like lessons planned,
Yep.
and then so those were good when I was first starting with the program. So when I was getting my email script up and getting that ready to go, and then from there, it kind of just was like kind of went into like a free form kind of like, what do you guys need to know right now, and more of that stuff. And that was what really I think helped me the most because
Got you.
it was like the questions I had got answered. And I mean, you can attest this to like we talked a lot about like just like sometimes like it gets away from football too. Like you just talk about like life and stuff. Like we had conversations about like if I just go to school, and get a degree, you know what I mean? And those
Yeah.
helped a lot too because like without, those conversations, I don't know if, you know, I'm as like committed as I am now to being like this is what I want to do because I wouldn't have gone through those like conversations of talking through it and deciding, yeah, this is what I want to do. So that helped a lot with just, you know, finding that this is what I want to do and getting that motivation back after probably like 3 months of like, man, is this like going to work? And you know what I mean? Of getting kind of discouraged and not seeing results. But then when it actually starts to come in and it's like, yeah, like this is what I want to do. You know what I mean? So that helped a lot.
Yeah, man, I definitely hear that. That's awesome. And I guess where you're at now, like just give us a brief rundown on kind of where you're at right now and your plans for next year and the next 4 years.
So for next year, heading up to NMU to walk on, try to get a scholarship and get a degree while I'm there. So that's the plan for the next 4 years, and then we'll see where that takes me. So
It's fire, man. Yeah, man, congrats. did did you or any of your family kind of have any like apprehension about joining something like this before getting started?
um not really. I think my mom was very supportive of it because from where we're from, it's just kind of hard to like get your name out. And,
Yeah.
she was just like, if we're going to do it, you got to do it. So it was more of a like, we can do this, but if you know, don't go all the way with it and do the work, that's when she would have been, upset about it. So,
Mm, gotcha, man. So I guess after kind of seeing everything, like going through the entire program and everything like that, and going from the first part of it to now the end, like what would you say to someone that's kind of on the fence or that kind of has a little bit of like apprehension about doing something like this?
I mean, I would say like if it's something that you really want to pursue and it, within your financial realm, you don't, you got to look at that too.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, if it's something you really want to go for, I would say this is, you know, best place to do it because, there's not many, you know, like, I don't know, organizations, because I mean, you go to NCSA or something like that, and it's like there's so many kids. But I mean, here, like, it's still growing. So at this point, you're getting so much like good one-on-one like coaching, and
Mm-hmm.
it's not, you're not waiting like a day or two for a response on a question you have that you need an answer to within the next like 2 hours because you're, talking to a coach. And
Yeah.
you don't want to leave them undelivered because that's not a good look. So
Yeah.
it's just like I think it's the best mix of like you guys know what you're doing and it's like you're not some big corporation.
Mm, yeah.
So
Definitely, man. I love that. Appreciate you saying that too, because that means a lot, man. Fire. Any last words, man?
no, I think we hit it all. So
Yeah, I think we did. Yeah, man, you crushed it. But yeah, man, I want to say just appreciate your time. Appreciate all of your hard work in the program and being part of our community and doing all those things. And obviously, best of luck for the next 4 years at Northern Michigan, man. You're gonna go crush it. I absolutely know it. So appreciate you, bro.